Hello, my name is Cassidy James, and tonight I want to talk to you all about saying no to drugs. People tend to begin to use drugs based on different aspects that happen in their lives. A lot of times it begins with peer pressure. It can happen because their parents do it, they think it's okay, it's the norm, it's normal for them. So there's a lot of different ways that people get introduced to it, and that's how it really begins. But first, I just really want to share an experience with you all. My cousin was a mother of two. She had a little boy and a little girl. When she began to use drugs, the hardcore drugs, she was addicted to methamphetamines, and she would go days and days and days without seeing or communicating with her kids. She would just drop them off with her dads when their dads weren't in jail. She would drop them off with grandparents, cousins, aunt, uncles, whoever was willing to watch them. And it's a good thing, I feel, in a sense, that she didn't take her kids around it. But at the same time, I feel like they would have rather had their time with their mother than let me go play at my aunt's house while my mom goes off and does whatever it is she's doing. So that was very difficult to witness. While she was actually actively using, she became pregnant. And shortly after she became pregnant, she was sentenced to prison. Well, while in prison, she gave birth to a little boy who was later... it was probably 2 weeks after he was born, maybe even a month tops. He began to have heart problems. He had holes in his heart, and he had to get stents. And I believe, that could have been caused from her drug use while pregnant. Well, she gave birth to him. 3 days later, she had to go back to prison. The baby had to be taken. He was put in a home with a family member, which was a good thing. At least he wasn't in foster care. But at the same time, who wants to have their child taken away from them at 3 days old? They're newborn. You can't even go home with them and, love them like you're supposed to, because you're behind bars because you broke the law and you were doing things that you shouldn't have been doing. So it's very disturbing, and it's very hard to witness, and it's even hard to talk about, honestly, because nobody really wants to witness that or, have to deal with that, and I really feel for the kids. So she's actually out now. She's doing great, so that's beside the point. I just wanted to share that I have witnessed it, so I kind of know what effects it has, especially on children. So ways that people really get introduced to drugs and start doing it, peer pressure. That's the number one way that people will start to use drugs. Friends in high school think it's okay. Even middle schoolers these days are using drugs, smoking marijuana. The thing now is Adderall, which is for ADHD, and people start to use it because it has the opposite effect on people who aren't ADHD. So in that, people start to use drugs and they become addicted because they try it one time. They think, okay, I can do it one time and it's okay, I'm not going to do it anymore. However, it goes on in their heads, and then they use it daily. Or a lot of times it'll start off I'll just do it on the weekends, and okay, I'll just do it, once or twice during the week, and then eventually it consumes their lives, and it's very sad. Medical reasons, people start to use drugs. Say, for instance, whenever someone has surgery, they might get prescribed Lortab or Xanax or whatever it is that they're prescribed. And after the prescription's empty, they want more and more and more and more, and they start taking it, and that's how people get addicted to pills. And, it's sad. A lot of people, begin to get depressed, or even, are already depressed, have anxiety. Doctors prescribe medication for that, and they begin to abuse it. It's just a cycle that's constantly going, Now, in a sense, drugs can be used for good. people have to have medication for certain reasons. Some people would die without medication. So, but the difference is knowing like when it's necessary and just doing it recreational. So that's that. The effects that using drugs has on people, like I said with my cousin, she lost her kids for a few years. She had to give birth to a child and be taken away from him for 3 days after he's born for like 2 years of his life. She missed the first 2 years of his life, so it's sad. It's sad to witness stuff like that. It takes away your families, people who are your good friends that are like really good people, they don't want anything to do with you now because you're a drug user. And who wants to hang out with a meth head, so people call it, whenever they're doing it for themselves? Nobody's trying to get caught up in a situation just because they're supposed to be your friends. Yeah, they're supposed to be your friends, but they're supposed to pull you away from it. They're not supposed to like condone it and be like, okay, let's go hang out and you can do drugs and I'll just sit over here. No, you're not going to have good friends like that. So first, if you want good friends, then the first thing you need to do is quit using drugs, because drugs aren't going to be, they're going to bring negativity around you. You're going to begin to be hateful and mean and things like that. So it's a very wide span of things that you can do while being active user of drugs. A lot of people become jobless, because they'll stay up all night doing the drug. They'll oversleep, don't go to work, or, whatever it is that they're doing. They'd rather hang out and all night and do drugs, or stay up all night because they're geeked up or whatever. Stay up all night and not get up and go to work the next day, lose their jobs. Okay, you can't have a home without a job. A lot of times people lose their homes. A lot of people finance their vehicles. You can't pay your car note without a job. Okay, you didn't go to work because you stayed up all night doing drugs. Now, you don't have a car. You don't have a home. Your family doesn't even want anything to do with you. You don't have friends. You have friends, people who you think are your friends, but they aren't really. They're just bad people that you're just, surrounding yourself with, and it's very sad. There is a chapter in the Bible that I just kind of feel like drugs relates to, and it talks about the devil. It is John chapter 10, verse 10, and it states, "The thief cometh not but for to steal and to kill and to destroy. I have come that they might have life, and it might be more abundantly." So basically what I'm seeing from this is drugs, they come and they take away all your happiness. They kill it. They destroy it. Like a drug, like a thief, drugs can take away one's appetite, their sleep, their money, their jobs, their home, their families. Saying no to drugs is not always easy to do, but knowing the negative outcome that it has on people might make it easier for them to say no to drugs.